Let's go to our next question. It's from, I see the hand up there. We'll try and get a microphone to you in a minute. We've got a question from Terry Nutt.
A question for Sophie, Tony. In the 5 days since the reinstallation of Kevin Rudd as Prime Minister, the ALP has made significant gains in the polls, and the ALP have a real chance of winning the next election. Sophie, is it now time to dump Tony Abbott for Malcolm Turnbull?
I'll take that as a serious question. Look, remember it was Tony Abbott who got Kevin Rudd's measure and he was dumped, and then Julia Gillard came along. It was Tony Rudd who got Julia Gillard's measure. If the Labor Party and Labor supporters are so confident that Kevin resurrected is so great, call on an election and give the Australian people the ability to decide who will be Prime Minister.
I do think Malcolm Turnbull is a very interesting product to sell because he is the most qualified unelectable person in Australia. And as they say, and because we like the middle and we don't like any outliers, especially white, rich, private school boys. So we don't like the outliers, and that's a shame because I actually think he's really qualified. But as they say,
sorry, they're both white, rich,
yes, but he can't be. I reckon they could run a campaign around this because he can't be elected, but he can be installed. So maybe what they should do is every vote for Tony is actually a vote for Malcolm.
I think
that's ridiculous. I mean, we've had the same team.
It's an idea.
Yeah, and you sell those sort of crazy ideas.
I think you're the one who sells crazy ideas.
Well, actually, we've had the same stable team since December 2009. We've worked very hard to have the right policies and put to the Australian people. We're not the one who are divided and dysfunctional. You look at someone like Wayne Swan. There are rumours in Canberra the only reason he's staying on is to make sure that Bill Shorten never becomes Prime Minister. The poison of the internecine warfare will continue. We're the ones who are ready and able to provide the Australian people the sort of government, the stability and the policies that they are asking for.
Just because you're stable, though, doesn't mean you're good.
Why don't we hear any of them?
I just want to touch this over to... well, yes, let's hear from Neil Lyons. Now, one thing that Sophie is absolutely right about is that they have had one leader for quite some time, and he's basically been such a good oppositionalist that he's done in 2 leaders already, and now we're back to the first one again.
And undoubtedly... hang on.
She's wrong about the policies, though. They don't have any, because they haven't expressed any in public so far.
Oh, come on!
So let's talk about Tony for a moment, because I think that was the question.
No, let's talk about
I think
policy.
he has done... well, we'll get to you. I'd love to hear that. You talking about policy would be great. But the question was about Tony Abbott, and I think he has done a very good job, and the party machine has done a very good job of remaking Tony Abbott. And he's presented as a much steadier character. He's really honed his skills. He's very predictable. He has this sort of lovely bedside manner in the way that he talks. He does always wear the same blue tie if he's not in the occasional lycra and budgie smuggler. But more seriously, it's clear that the framework the coalition wants to take into this campaign is of stability versus chaos. And I think until last week, they were just actually... He'd got into his stride and he was strolling to a certain victory. But I think it has been upset. But I think, yes, we need to talk about policy, and I think the Labor Party has a lot to talk about, but there's a lot of wounds to be healed. You've opened up, I think Labor has opened up its backroom operations far too much. You know, it's said that you should never, if you want to eat sausages, never watch sausages being made. And at the moment, the Labor Party's all sausage and no skin. You know?
Sausages and laws, I think, is the expression you never
Let's
want
hear
to
from
see
Sue Cato on the question that was asked, actually. And we did make the point that Tony Abbott has done a remarkable job as an opposition leader. So maybe the question was tongue-in-cheek about getting rid of him, I don't know.
No, it's really interesting. I mean, when you come back and you look at who are the politicians, who are the personalities that are really rating and that people really care about. And, you know, you've raised Malcolm Turnbull. You look at Malcolm Turnbull and Kevin Rudd's popularity. And I think that's really a sign that people actually can see and make a choice on what they think is authentic and not authentic. And we've seen a lot of people feel that there are a lot of people delivering lines, delivering slogans, the stunts, etc., going on. And I think that people are actually attracted to leaders who they think have a vision and who are above the day in, day out sort of brutality that this last 5 years has become known for. And I think that's the reason why this change last week has changed the game.
Yeah, I think the biggest risk right now to the Liberal Party, and because they can't really walk it in anymore, I think the biggest risk is unscripted Tony. So the challenge that the Liberal Party had is that they didn't need to sell themselves. They needed to be careful not to unsell themselves. Now they have a problem because you got Rudd who's come in and he's forcing policy conversation. So it'll be very interesting now to see Tony front more, because I think they were using the George Bush strategy of keep him quiet, because he's been off the radar. Yeah. George Bush didn't speak for 2 years unscripted. And I think now he's going to have to go back.
Actually, let's look at the facts. Over the last 12 months, Tony Abbott's done twice as many interviews as Julia Gillard has done.
Can you explain why we don't see him doing long format interviews? Yeah. Why he won't do this program or Late Line or The Insiders?
Well, he's done this program 7 times. Kevin Rudd's done it 4.
Well, he hasn't since he's been leader. He's done it once.
Well, he's done this program 7 times, but Kevin Rudd's done it 4. And wasn't Kevin Rudd supposed to be on tonight? He was asked to be on tonight and he refused to do it.
Well, Tony Abbott's been asked to be on many times as well. That's not the point. The point is, we want to know when he will actually come out and start doing long format interviews where he will test himself. Because if Todd is right and he stays under the radar, that's going to be a problem for him.
I want to hear him speak because he's very entertaining.
He's out there. Last week, he did more interviews over the last week than both Kevin Rudd and Julia Gillard did together.
Why won't he debate the Prime Minister at the press club on the economy?
Let's let Kevin Rudd call an election and we'll have those. And we will have... You asked me a question, Tanya. Let me answer it. Let Kevin Rudd either recall Parliament, let's have debates, let him call an election and we'll have those candidate debates and bring it on. Why is Kevin Rudd not calling an election? Don't be ridiculous.
When will it happen then, Sophie?
Why is Kevin Rudd afraid to call an election date? Does he think the longer he keeps it, he can have a greater victory? I mean, does he think that?
According to the polls, it's not a bad idea.
Well, great, call it on. Bring it on. Bring on the election.
We've made that point a few times now. Let's go to Marla Minnow.